Our next speaker is none other than Bruce Schneier, fellow and lecturer at Harvard Kennedy School and Chief of Security Architecture of Inrupt.
I want to talk about three things that are failing us right now in computer security. The first one is patching, right? Our computers, our phones, they're as secure as they are for basically two reasons. One, there's a team of engineers at Apple, at Microsoft, at Google that designed them to be secure in the first place. And the second is those teams are able to quickly and effectively write and promulgate patches when there's a vulnerability. And you know this, you get patches every month for Microsoft, all the time for Apple, for Google products. This isn't true for low-cost embedded systems like DVRs and home routers. They're built at a much lower profit margin, often built offshore by third parties. There really just aren't security teams associated with those devices to write those patches. Even worse, for a lot of those devices, there isn't a way to patch them. I mean, right now, the way you patch your home router is you throw it away and buy a new one. There isn't another patching mechanism. And actually, that throw it away and buy a new one is a security measure. We also get security from the fact that our computers, our phones, we replace them every 3 to 5 years. And each new version is more secure, more reliable, better. This also isn't true for embedded systems. We replace our digital video recorders, every 5 to 10 years, our refrigerators every 25 years. I bought a digital thermostat a couple of years ago. I expect to replace it approximately never. And that means these old devices are going to be on the internet, unsupported, unpatched, because there's no other way to make this work. Right? It's not something the market can fix because the economics is different. The second thing that's starting to fail is authentication. Now, authentication's kind of only just barely worked, right? Human memorizable passwords have limitations. Two-factor is great. It's not suitable for everything. Backup authentication systems are uniformly terrible. But the amount of authenticating we're going to do is about to explode exponentially. So when we authenticate, it's usually one of two things. I'll kind of demonstrate. So this is me logging into my iPhone, and this is me checking my email. So that was me authenticating to an object, to a device, and me authenticating to a remote service, right? And those worked really well. But what we're seeing the rise of is thing-to-thing authentication. Devices authenticating to other devices without us being in the loop. And this is the Internet of Things. And it's all about devices communicating behind our backs without our knowledge, automatically. So if you think about it, if you have 100 IoT devices on your person in your home and they need to communicate, that's 10,000 authentications. 1,000 devices is 1,000,000 authentications. We don't know how to do that at scale. We know how to do it a little bit. I mean, right now, when I go to my car, this device automatically authenticates to the car, uses the microphone and speakers, right? That's great. That's Bluetooth. But if you think about it, Bluetooth works because I set it up, right? I manually paired my car and my phone. And I'll do that 10 times, 25 times. I'm not going to do it 10,000 times. I'm not going to do it 1,000,000 times. We don't have thing-to-thing authentication that scales. The third thing that's failing is supply chain. Supply chain security is actually insurmountably hard. If you're following this issue, in the United States, it's all about Huawei, ZTE. Can we trust Chinese networking equipment? A couple of years ago, it was all about Kaspersky. Can we trust a Russian antivirus product? And this is not just the US. 2014, China banned Kaspersky. 2017, India banned a bunch of Chinese smartphone apps. Back in 1997, there were debates in many parts of the world, including the United States, about a company called Checkpoint. Right? Can we trust an Israeli security company? This is actually a reasonable question, right? Can you trust a product built by a company in a country that you don't trust? But that's really just the small part of a much bigger problem. This is an American product, but it's not made in the US. Its chips aren't fabbed in the US. Its programmers carry 100 different passports. And all of those are potential vulnerabilities into what is ostensibly a US only device. And we've seen backdoors in US and European products. And it's even worse than that. We have to trust our distribution mechanism. We see fake apps in the Google Play Store all the time. We have to trust our update mechanism. NotPetya was distributed through a hacked update to a popular Ukrainian accounting package. We have to trust our shipping mechanism. We've seen photographs of NSA employees installing backdoors into Cisco routers that were destined for the Syrian telephone company. I saw a paper, you can hack a smartphone through a malicious replacement screen. And you can't trust anyone, yet you have to trust everybody. That's the problem of supply chain. There's no actual domestic solution. This industry is so incredibly international. So those are three problems that we are seeing now that are getting bigger. In a sense, it's a bit of a perfect storm. These security things are failing just as everything is becoming interconnected, just as the IoT revolution, the 5G revolution is connecting everything, is moving data, is changing how we deal with computing. It's creating an immersive environment where everything is computerized, everything is connected. And largely, I think we've been okay with an unregulated tech space because it didn't matter, and now it does. So primarily, this is a policy problem, and getting the policy right is critical. And I want to give two principles, one policy, one tech, that will inform any solutions. The policy principle is defense has to dominate. Think of it as one world, one network, one answer. Gone are the days when we can defend our stuff and attack their stuff. Today, everyone is using the same stuff. Everyone is using iPhones and TCP/IP and Zoom and Microsoft Windows and the internet. So either we have to build security for everyone or security for no one. Or putting it the other way, either everyone gets to spy or nobody gets to spy. Right? We can't have both. And as long as this technology is being used by everybody, as long as this device is in the pocket of every elected government official and police officer and judge and election official and CEO and nuclear power plant operator, then we have to make this as secure as possible, even if it means we can't spy on the bad guys when they're using this. Defense has to dominate. We have no alternative anymore. The internet is becoming too important, too critical, and now affects life and property. The technical principle is that we need to build resilience into our systems. If we're going to deal in a world of perpetual insecurity, we have to figure out how to make our systems resilient, how to assume insecurity and make the systems work anyway. We have principles for this, right? Defense in depth, compartmentalization, avoiding single points of failure, ways to fail safe, ways to fail secure, removing functionality, deleting data, systems that monitor other systems, all in the service of resilience. The internet is becoming too critical to accept any degrees of fragility. And resilience is a core principle. Real question to me is how we get from here to there. Right? Markets can't solve this. And markets are short-term, profit-motivated at the expense of society. They can't solve collective action problems. And government is the mechanism that we use to solve these sorts of problems. It's how we act together collectively as citizens instead of individually as consumers. So what I want to see is more government involvement in cyberspace, in cybersecurity. When I give this talk in the United States, Silicon Valley is very anti-government. The notion is that governments can only do bad and they need to stay away. And I think that's no longer tenable. So no longer talking about data, we're talking about public safety. And I think governments get involved regardless. The risks are too great, the stakes are too high. Governments are already involved in physical systems, cars, planes, consumer goods. The physical threats of the IoT spur them into action. So the choice really isn't between government involvement and no government involvement. It's between smart government involvement and stupid government involvement. And we need to start thinking about this, the pros and cons, as technologists, before some kind of regulation is thrust upon us. And I think done right, regulation incents private industry. Regulation doesn't stifle innovation. Good regulation done right creates a market for security. We have a lot of security technologies. We have a lot of really smart tech solutions that can be brought to bear on the problems I opened this talk with. The problem is that the market doesn't incent companies to buy them, to use them, to install them. But good regulation means there's a market. Europe is moving in this direction. I mean, Europe right now is the regulatory superpower on the planet. GDPR, big privacy regulation. They're working on security regulations. In the United States, it's the states leading the way, particularly California, Massachusetts, and New York. And the international considerations, I think, are really interesting. Right? The car I buy in the United States is not the same car I would buy in Mexico. Environmental laws are different, and manufacturers tune their engines. But the Facebook I get in the United States is exactly the same Facebook they get in Mexico. If California passes law, they do. California has a law about Internet of Things that says no default passwords. So if you're going to sell an IoT anything in California, you can't have a default password. It's a good security rule. It's not a lot, but it's something. You imagine a company that makes a thermostat or a toy or an appliance. They're going to change their software to follow the California law. They're not going to sell two versions, one to Californians, one to you and I. So a good security law in a large enough jurisdiction benefits the whole world. Right now, the UK is debating a law for Internet of Things that would say no easy to guess passwords. That law would benefit me, would benefit you, even if we are not in the UK. Just as GDPR benefits us, even though we are not Europeans. But right now, today, technologists need to get involved in public policy. These issues are technical. They are also policy focused. And as internet security becomes everything security, internet security technology becomes more important to overall security policy. All the policy issues have strong tech components, and we will never get the policy right if we get the tech wrong. We see that again and again. The going dark debate, the hackback debate, the equities debate, voting machines, driverless cars. In the United States, Apple versus FBI, backdoors and devices, the Facebook hearings. Right? How does Facebook affect democracy? And we need to fix this. Technologists need to get involved in policy discussions on legislative staffs, in government agencies, at NGOs, as part of the press. I mean, this is bigger than security, but security is an important part of this. We need to build a viable career path for public interest technologists. If we don't, bad policy happens to us. We don't solve the tech problems, we don't solve the policy problems, and it just gets worse. Thank you.